Hi everyone, this is Learning with Linda. Hope you all had an amazing time with your loved ones and with your families. So here we have the update for the month of January regarding the SNAP emergency allotment. We have 24 states that have been approved for the emergency allotment for the month of January. And then also 6 states will be sending their emergency allotment in January as well. And these are the states that are usually 1 month behind. And remember, it's coming from the emergency allotment from the month of December. We also have news regarding the public health emergency, where 25 governors have sent a letter to President Biden to end the public health emergency in April of 2023. And as I've said in several of my videos, the public health emergency is basically the reason why we're getting those emergency allotments. So that goes hand in hand, right? There's also 27 states that will increase their minimum wage in the year of 2023. And of course, all the information is available in this video as well. So make sure you guys stay until the end of this video to ensure that you receive this information. Now, before we get started, if you're interested in the latest news regarding stimulus, child tax credit, SNAP, p-ebt, and everything in between, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button down below. Now let's get right to it. So let's start off with the SNAP emergency allotment. So remember guys that for the month of January, SNAP beneficiaries in states with an approved emergency allotment will receive a minimum of $95 in extra food stamps. So for the 2023 fiscal year, which by the way started in October, the maximum benefit amount for one person is up to $281, for two people $516, and so on. So like I said before, if your state is on the list of approved states for the emergency allotments, then you will receive a minimum of $95 in extra food stamps, not $281, okay? So I just want to be clear here. The minimum is $95 in extra food stamps for the emergency allotment, and of course this can vary depending on a person's economic situation. Next, we have the list of states who are unfortunately no longer providing the SNAP emergency allotments. So these are the states that have already ended their COVID-related emergency declarations and therefore have ceased issuing emergency allotments, which of course that means that they've stopped issuing these benefits. That includes the states of Missouri, Florida, Idaho, Montana, South Dakota, North Dakota, Nebraska, Arkansas, Mississippi, Tennessee, which these states ended their benefits in the year 2021. Then we have the state like Iowa that ended their benefits in March. Then it's Arizona, Kentucky that ended their benefits in April. Indiana and Georgia, for example, ended their benefits in May. Alaska ended their benefits in August. So once again, this is entirely your state's decision to end the COVID-related emergency declarations and therefore no longer provide these extra benefits. And here we have the payout dates for January 2023 regarding the SNAP emergency allotment. So starting off with Alabama, January 31st, all the way through the 1st of February. California, February 4th or February 11th. Colorado, January 8th through January 13th. DC's on a regular issuance schedule. We also have Illinois, January 21st through January 29th. Hawaii, February 13th. Kansas, February 19th through February 28th. Louisiana, January 7th, the 14th, the 21st, or the 28th. Maine, January 10th. Maryland, January 4th, all the way through the 23rd. Michigan, January 21st, all the way through January 30th. Next, we have New Jersey, January 1st through January 5th. New Mexico, January 1st all the way through the 31st. North Carolina, January 22nd through the 31st. Ohio, January 24th or the 25th. Oklahoma, January 10th through the 15th. Oregon, dispersing payment once again in 3 rounds. So round 1, January 10th. Round 2, January 30th. And round 3, February 1st. Next, we have Rhode Island, January 4th, South Carolina, January 1st through January 31st, Texas, January 3rd through the 5th, or January 9th through the 10th. Once again, Texas, January 3rd through the 5th, or January 9th through the 10th. Utah, January 28th, and Virginia, January 16th. Next, we have Washington setting up payment anywhere between January 1st through January 20th, West Virginia, January 4th, and Wisconsin, January 21st. And there's also a couple of states that will be sending their emergency allotment for December in the month of January. Remember, these are the states that are usually 1 month behind. So starting off with California, they'll be sending their SNAP emergency allotment for December on either January 7th or January 14th. Hawaii also sending their benefits from December on January 10th, Kansas January 22nd through the 31st, Massachusetts January 3rd, Minnesota January 10th all the way through the 31st, and Vermont January 12th. And continuing on with information regarding the emergency allotments, here I want to show you guys some interesting information that I found regarding the public health emergency. And as you know, the public health emergency goes hand in hand with those SNAP emergency allotments. So Governor Holcomb has signed a letter urging President Biden to end the public health emergency in April. And Governor Holcomb wasn't actually the only governor to do that. It's 25 governors in total that have called on the federal government to move on from the pandemic, ending the COVID-19 public health emergency. So let me go ahead and show you guys all the details that are available. So in a letter sent to President Joe Biden this week, 25 Republican governors asked for the end of the COVID-19 public health emergency in the month of April. So HHS last renewed the federal public health emergency in October for another increment of 90 days until January 11th, with the pledge to provide states with 60 days notice if it is decided to terminate the declaration or allow it to expire. That's something we've said in some of my previous videos. So since those 60 days came and went without notice, states are operating under the assumption that the public health emergency will be renewed for another 90 days and expire in April unless it is extended again. So we ask that you allow the public health emergency to expire in April and provide states with much needed certainty well in advance of its expiration. This is something that the governors urge President Biden in their December 19th letter. And remember, guys, that the expiration of the public health emergency could mean the end of the extra food stamp benefits, which we refer to as the emergency allotments that certain states are receiving every month. Now, it seems like these 25 governors claim that the public health emergency is hurting states largely through the Medicaid flexibilities costing the states hundreds of millions of dollars. So under the continuous coverage requirement of the Families First Coronavirus Response Act, state Medicaid agencies are barred from disenrolling people during the public health emergency unless it requested in exchange for an enhanced federal match. So HHS estimates up to 15 million people will be disenrolled from Medicaid and the Children's Health Insurance Program when the public health emergency ends. So the letter was initiated by Chris Sununu, which is the governor of New Hampshire, and signed by the following governors in these states, and that includes Alabama, Alaska, Arkansas, Arizona, Florida, Georgia, Idaho, Indiana, Iowa, Massachusetts, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, North Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Virginia, and Wyoming. And in other news, there's also a couple of states that are raising their minimum wages in the year 2023. And as you can see, it's also including around 41 cities in total. So let me show you guys all the details. So amid inflation and no changes on the federal level, multiple states will be raising their minimum wages in the year 2023. So the federal minimum wage in the United States is at $7.25, a rate that hasn't changed since the year 2009. So as of fall 2022, 15 states have minimum wage rates that match the federal minimum wage, down from 16 last year. So in the new year, 27 states will see an increase in their minimum wage. Most will take effect on January 1st, which is a total of 23 states, but others will have to wait until further notice into 2023. California will have the highest minimum wage rate at $15.50, up from the $15 it set in the year 2022. Only Washington, D.C. has a higher minimum wage of $16.10. States like Oregon and Nevada won't see their minimum wages increase until July of 2023. Then Oregon's rate will rise from the current $13.50 to a yet-to-be-determined number based on the Consumer Price Index, a figure released by the United States Bureau of Labor Statistics. In Nevada, the minimum wage will increase to $10.25 for employers that provide qualifying health benefits and $11.25 for those that don't. Two states like Connecticut and Massachusetts will satisfy their scheduled incremental increases to bring their minimum wages to $15. 6 other states move one step closer to reaching that milestone in the year 2023. That includes New Jersey by 2024, Delaware, Illinois, Maryland, and Rhode Island by 2025, and Florida by the year 2026. Florida's incremental minimum wage increase will take effect at the end of September. And so here I've included a chart where you can expect to see a minimum wage change in the year 2023. So it's going to have an increase for all the states that you see here in the lighter, I should say a lime green color. And in the other green color, those are the states that will have no change, or the gray states that will also have no increase for the year 2023. And if you're wondering what the minimum wages will look like in the year 2023, here's pretty much a chart. Certain states like blue, for example, the states that are colored blue, those are the states that will have their increase, and they have the numbers on there as to what their minimum wage will be in the coming year. Then states that are colored green, those are the states that will remain the same. And as I've mentioned in one of my previous videos, for my friends in the state of Minnesota, your state actually has a massive $17.6 billion budget surplus, and your governor is pretty much throwing out ideas as to what to do with that money. And as I've mentioned previously, that includes rebates of anywhere between $1,000 to $2,000. And on the flip side to that, Democrats will also control both the House and Senate for the first time in 8 years when the Minnesota legislature convenes January 3rd, giving them power to decide how to use a $17.6 billion projected budget surplus and new opportunities to pass liberal initiatives that the outgoing Senate Republican majority had blocked. So let's dive in right into some of those details regarding these rebates. So like I mentioned previously, Minnesota Democrats will control both the House and the Senate for the first time in 8 years when the state legislature convenes January 3rd, giving them power to decide how to use a $17.6 billion projected budget surplus. Democratic Governor Tim Walz is the third element of the party's political trifecta in the state. He has already said he would like to revive his 2022 proposal to give part of the surplus back via tax rebate checks. So the governor will have more to say about his priorities when he releases his budget proposal on January 24th. Walz has said a starting point could be his idea from the 2022 session for tax rebates of $1,000 for individual and $2,000 for joint filers. On another issue, some Democrats have joined the GOP calls for complete elimination of the state's partial income tax on Social Security benefits, which is currently structured to try to exempt lower and middle income filers. And that is all the updates that I have for today. Remember to turn on your notification button to know when I have uploaded a new video. See you guys next time.